Hey y'all, have y'all ever heard about the paper ceiling? The paper ceiling is basically the place where you can't get beyond because, like, in your business, no matter how smart you are, no matter how long you've worked in a job and how much experience you have, or just how great you are at how much skill you have in a particular area, right? So the paper ceiling basically says, like, you can't get to the next level because you don't have a degree. That degree, that piece of paper is holding you down. Yeah. So, I was a believer. Okay, charge it to my age. This is yet another thing where the young people have recognized that it's not right. And I think that this whole notion of us needing to have a degree, um, I think it's like an elitist kind of a concept. Like, if you have this degree, you're able to set yourself apart, right? And if you don't, then you're not. So we kind of look down on the trades, the car mechanic, the electrician, the carpenter, the plumber, right? We sort of look down on those people who had those kinds of jobs. Meanwhile, at some point in our life, we all need those people. So it's not that they had lost their usefulness, but it was like we felt like you needed to have this, like an engineering degree, a business administration degree. You had to have all of these degrees in order for you to really believe that you were successful, or that you were like an expert in your field, when in actuality that may not have been the case. Like, you really may have just needed to spend more time, like, as an apprentice, to learn how to do stuff, right? To figure it out, right? Like, doesn't that make sense? Like, somebody who has done it for such a long time. And I know that in my generation, that was the same thought process. Like, you had to go to college, because if you didn't go to college, like, what were you doing with yourself? And you kind of could settle for like a civil servant job, which is what I did in the beginning. But you could never go but so far because you didn't have a college degree. And I even know of a very dear friend of mine who was and is, an amazing, amazing person in the accounting field, but because they don't possess a CPA, isn't necessarily as highly regarded. So therefore, when it comes time for salary negotiations, like, people have this expectation that they don't deserve as much. So that propelled my friend to go back to school to get an accounting degree, although not becoming a CPA, but at least to get that piece of paper, so they could sort of get beyond that paper ceiling. And when I left my civil servant job, I eventually, realized, like, okay, I'm going to need to go back to school, finish up my bachelor's, and then I went ahead and got my master's so that I could also get beyond the paper ceiling, because I felt like I needed credentials in order for me to be successful in anything that I would do. But you look at young people today, and they're saying, hey, first of all, yeah, maybe I don't want to go to school. Maybe that's not the thing for me. Maybe, I would do better in the trades, and I can make as much money, if not more, than a person who may have gone to school. Now, I happen to, even when I went back to school, I still didn't put myself on track to make really that much more money than I was making as a civil servant. And that is fact, fact, fact. Because I chose social work. I'm a people person, and I want to do good for the world, right? Like, I want to be the change that I want to see in the world, right? So there's a price to be paid for that. Okay, no good deed goes unpunished. Never forget that part. So anyway, so yeah, I went back to school, and I did what I did. But the reality is, I still didn't set myself up to make more money. I don't believe that everything is about money, but in this particular discussion that we're having, I'm just saying that how we measure success shouldn't necessarily be determined by whether or not we have a piece of paper, right? Like, young people who are now making buku dollars, you know, doing digital marketing, graphic design, um, content creation, right? They're making like so much money, have figured out their own niches, you know, in specific fields, and are able to be successful because they work hard at their craft and are doing it without necessarily having that piece of paper. So it just makes me think, like, why do we keep getting sucked into believing this new narrative? And I kind of feel like, along with that narrative, you have to look at the, especially in the US, you have to look at how much money it costs to go to school. So they create this new narrative and they push it, and then because they've pushed it so hard, you believe that you can't live without it, and then they can charge this premium price for you to get that education, to get that piece of paper. We getting got. Like, really? Really? It costs like 30 or 40 G's. 30 or $40,000 a year to go to some schools. Okay? And now let me even dig a little bit deeper than that. That's college. Do you know how much people are paying for private school, for their kids to go to private school? Some of these schools cost as much as a university. I'm just saying, does your kindergartner necessarily have to? I mean, I know we want to give our kids an opportunity. I'm not knocking the opportunity to learn or to have a better educational experience. I'm talking about the cost. Like, what in the whole world is going on? Why are we spending so much money on these pieces of paper? I'm just saying, is the it, do we really get $30,000 worth more of education? I don't know. Even when I did get a degree, I got it from a state university. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't go to Ivy League anything, so I don't know. I guess my piece of paper may not be worth as much as some other pieces of paper. But what I know for a fact is that there are people who are doing far better in the world who don't have a piece of paper. Now, there are places in other countries that I've been where education is absolutely the opportunity maker, right? The creator of opportunity. Like, being able to go to a good school in certain places allows you to have greater options, and I'm very much aware of that. Very much aware of that. And yes, they still do charge a premium in order for them to have these educational experiences that will give them an opportunity for a better life. This part is true. Absolutely. But it ain't $30,000 worth. It ain't, it's not. It really isn't. It's just not that much. I just want to know, like, how much is too much? How much is too much? And should we be pushing the idea of getting a piece of paper beyond pursuing what really makes your heart smile, what ignites joy in your soul? Because if you're doing those things, aren't you more likely to put your best foot forward, to put more effort in, to go to greater lengths in order to be successful if you're doing the thing that you really want to do, as opposed to just going to school to get this piece of paper because your mama said you had to? I'm just asking the questions. Now, you can sit and ponder. You know, you might say, why aren't you asking those questions? I'm just saying, I fell victim to the paper ceiling trick. I did. I have fallen victim, and I know so many people in my generation that have. And because we've fallen victim to that, when we've had our kids, god kids, nieces, nephews, or whatever come to us and say, well, I don't want to go to college. We're like, no, you're going to college. You know, and like, no, you shouldn't do that. No, you shouldn't follow your dream. Like, why do you need to take a gap year off? Why do you need to find yourself? Why are you lost? You know, we have like all the comebacks for someone wanting to do a different thing. And I'm just saying, instead of us investing so much money in fueling this whole paper ceiling nonsense, like maybe we should be taking that money and investing in them having greater opportunities to explore what may indeed make them feel the best, what you never know when you're going to get the next Simone Biles, right? Unless you put her in gymnastics. You never know when you're going to get, the next Michael Phelps unless you give him swimming lessons. I just feel like maybe the investment needs to be made in them figuring out what they really love, what they're really good at, what they enjoy doing, and then you'll have a greater, reward in the end. They will at least have a greater reward in the end because they've done the thing that they wanted to do. I really and truly feel that I've learned that. And maybe, yes, maybe being from the US, I have the luxury of having these thoughts and whatever, because I've been told by some of my African friends, like their parents is not trying to hear that. Like, no, you can't be a DJ. You can be a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer. Like, that's it. They don't even want a teacher. They know teachers don't make no money. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how a lot of, African, parents are. They really and truly, and not only that, I mean, I've seen it also with, with a lot of, Asian parents, the same thing. Like, they have an expectation that you're going to, become this doctor, lawyer, or whatever, this high powered something, making enough money so that the parents, grandparents can take care of their kids. That's their job. You go out and make all this money, and you have these 3 or 4 generations living in the same household, and this level of success that hadn't been experienced before. That's how it goes. So I understand that there are a lot of reasons why we do a lot of things, but I'm just saying, if we are all buying into this whole notion of the paper ceiling, I feel like we're doing our future generations a disservice, because I think that there are other ways to achieve success, and there are other, definitely better ways to attain happiness in the long run. Because I think that eventually, when you're living a dream for someone else, that gets old real fast. That gets old real fast. So yeah, don't fall victim to the paper ceiling. That's all I'm saying. If your kid wants to do a different thing, let them. That doesn't mean they won't be successful. But I feel like, when you have a baby, most people say, oh, I don't care what it is, if it's a boy or a girl, I just want them to be happy and I want them to be healthy. That's what we say. But then when they get to be older, we don't necessarily want you to be happy. We expect you to be healthy. Like, do what you need to do to be healthy. But if it's going to mean you don't bring in the big bucks, I don't know. Like, why do we have all these qualifiers when they get older? I'm not sure. But I think it's something to think about. If we haven't thought about it, I think we can think about it and ask ourselves the questions. You know, are we letting the paper ceiling be the thing? I don't think it should be the thing. That's all I'm saying. Should it be the thing? Probably not. Yes, we'll leave that discussion right there. Please tell me what you think. Give me a little something in the comments. Tell me what you think about this whole paper ceiling situation. Leave a comment below. If you've enjoyed this content, please do me a favor and give me a thumbs up. Like this video, okay? And if you haven't already, subscribe, okay? Please and thank you. And hit that notification bell. You know you want to know when I'm coming back up with something else because I got a lot to say. I'm here to bring you all the about travel. I'm giving you travel stories. I'm giving you motivation. I'm giving you encouragement. I'm giving you some current events. I'm giving you a little bit of everything. Okay, this over 50 solo traveler who has been to more than 50 countries is trying to share with you some of the life experiences, the life lessons I've gotten over time. And I'm just hoping that it's going to be helpful to you. And it is cathartic for me, if nothing else. Okay. Yes. So, as I like to say, do good and be better. And until the next time, ciao for now.